the Jesus tomb, or the cave, was the making of it was really amazing, and I really enjoy seeing all the artworks and all the efforts that I can see that the families have helped, like the parents have helped inside in the craft, and all the Lego characters. It's just so amazing, especially after the Lego video that someone showed us last week. So, and then with all the craft, I think it was just really amazing. So this time, today, someone told us the story of Thomas and how we um, believe in Jesus not by touching his wound or touching his hand, or not even seeing his face or seeing his physical presence. But I think this is a very good reminder for myself that he is our God and our Lord. Our Lord. So today I'm going to draw two hands. Remember in the story of Thomas that he was trying to touch Jesus' wound on his hands to make sure that he is really Jesus. But today we no longer need that, and we no longer have that privilege. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the two hands. But now with the sample here, the orange paper here, I have my wife help me. So you can see that there one, and this is the second one. So one of the hand is from my wife. What I do like to see from your drawings or your artworks is that you have two people to help you with your drawing. Sorry, one person to help you with your drawing, so that it involves at least two people in the artwork itself. So basically, this is how we do it. Now, I like to start with a pencil because I try to use a marker to trace my own hand. I asked my wife to trace my hand, but then the marker just got onto my hand everywhere, and I don't think it's very nice. So maybe you can just draw your hand first, and then you trace it with the marker. So it's simple. So what I like to do is pretend I have two people here. So you will have someone else to trace your one of your hand. So let's say I trace my hand here. So I'm going to do it quickly. So you just basically go around, okay? And having your pencil straight really helps. So straight as in straight down to the page. It really helps to make it look better. All right, so you can see the hand, and here's a little bump because of my rain. After you have the first one, I want you to have your mom or your dad hand to be placed on the paper. So let's say this is my mom's hand, let's say, and then you want to overlap your own hand, because I feel like sometimes when we are alone and we feel like we don't have any guidance, I feel like, Jesus is actually holding onto our hands and walking us through every challenges, all the difficult times. So I want that to be overlapped. So it's really in our life and part of our life. So here you go. So I'm gonna overlap my own hand. Now try to overlap a little bit more this time because I'm twisting my hand. So it's not very, very much overlap. You can still see a big area here that is not being overlapped. And after you drew the two hands, I want you to draw the wrist that goes to the side of the page. So 1 and 2. Now, you see little pockets as in little closed areas. So what I want you to do is, now of course you will trace it with a marker. Let's say you have the marker. I'm gonna grab my marker here. So I'm just gonna trace one of them to save some time. So I'm just gonna go quickly. So, but when you trace it slowly, all right? So that you're tracing onto the line nicely. Here we go. And this is the last finger. Now, you'll notice that there are other big areas. So what do we do with the big areas? I like you to separate them into small, medium-sized parts. So that, for example, this one here, maybe I'll add a line right here. Adding a line here, okay? Maybe this big area, I'll add a line here. And then here. Maybe here is another, there's one big part. So now you will have smaller parts. What do we do inside these smaller parts? As you can see in my sample here, I want you to go around your house and really look for patterns in your house. What do you guys know what patterns are, right? So basically they are shapes that repeat over and over again. For example, let me give you a quick example. If you have a ruler, okay, you know, sometimes we find, oh, where do I find patterns? Well, I'm telling you, patterns is everywhere. Anytime you see shapes that repeat over and over again, and same shape, right? Then it's a pattern, just like a ruler. Okay, we can say that patterns are these lines here. So you see lines, or lines, not just shapes, but lines too. So lines, long one, short one, medium, short, medium, short, medium, short. You can hear already, right? So medium, short, medium, short, medium, short. That's a pattern. So that's something that you can add on here. So let me give you a quick example now. So for example, I really like my ruler pattern. Where should I add it? Well, I may add it here. So for example, I'm gonna add one line here. Maybe I'm gonna add two actually. And then I'm gonna do the same pattern. So, okay, so long, and then short, medium, short, medium, short, medium. Oh, the long one can be slightly longer. Short, and then long one. Okay, so you see my points now. And then there's the long one. So here is a pattern. Now on the other side, I can continue the same thing, right? So this time it's easy. I can follow just the one above it. Longer, short, medium, short, medium. Now, what about other patterns? Do we have other patterns in the house? Definitely, a lot of them. If you just look at, let's say, your clothes, you'll see stitches on sometimes on your clothes, or sometimes you guys have really nice clothes. You guys have clothes that are full of patterns. There can be like heart shape, or there can be zigzag lines. There can be like a fish scale or dragon scales. So there can be tons of different patterns inside your house. Find them, and then I want you to repeat them in your drawing here. Now, to make it even more meaningful, someone suggested that we should write the word "my Lord" and "my God" on our hands as well, just to remind us that we can remember, we know that Jesus is our Lord and is our God. So maybe we should write on some part that is a little bit longer, right? So you see this part here is quite long. Maybe I want to write it here. So do write that word. So my Lord. Okay, my Lord and my God. Maybe I will write it. Where should I write it? Maybe I'll write it here. Maybe I'll write here. Oh, actually, no. This is a nice spot too. My God. Okay, so you find some place on your hands to write the two words. And then the other places, I would like to see how you filled it with all different kind of patterns. And sometimes if you, it's no longer, it's kind of outdated, but my wall still have some wallpaper. Wallpaper is actually another kind of pattern. Some patterns are a little bit harder than the others. And you can see, pattern can be simple too. You can see how I have straight lines here. Okay, and this one, and you can combine different patterns together to create a new pattern. And this is one example here. You can see I have straight line, and then combining it with curved lines, and then also adding on to these little semi-circle dots, okay? So that creates a pattern. Now let me give you another quick example before we end the sample or the demonstration. Here, I'm going to separate it. You see how that this is a big part here? I'm going to separate this into another part. So right here, and then separating it here. So I'm going to put another pattern here. Just give you a quick example. I like to start with simple. Oops, this one is no longer working. I like to start with simple, simple shapes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now like I said, we're going to combine different patterns together. So this one here, inside each one, so I have straight line. Well, by the way, straight lines is already a pattern, but you don't want to always use the same kind of patterns. So I'm going to use different ones here. So I'm going to add heart shapes. I love heart shapes. So I'm going to use heart shapes, and they're going to be put in a diagonal way. So that's another kind of pattern I can add. And you can see with just straight lines, the orange one is also straight line, the blue one is also straight lines. It's already showing two different type of new patterns we have. And if you just look around us in the nature, you will also see tons of patterns like the lines on the leaf, or even there are lines on grass, so or on flower petals. So even in nature, God made the whole world full of different kind of interesting shapes and making them into patterns. So this is a very simple exercise, and I do like your whole family to work together and then finding different patterns and then drawing two hands. Definitely you need your mom or your dad's help to have two different type of hands. So you should showing that one smaller. I assume that your parents would have bigger hands than you, and your parents' hand would be a little bit bigger and then overlapping. All right, so that's I will look forward to see this week how your drawings would look like. And here you go.